Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're actually going to be taking a look at two module tutorials. Today we're going to be taking a look at Decode and Decrypt. So these modules are in a set of three modules. We have Decode, we have Decrypt, and we have Decipher. Decipher is obviously, as you can tell, the trickiest of them all, and Decode and Decrypt are sort of the easier slide. Now, Decode is, this will look like three little symbols right here. And Decrypt will look like five little symbols sort of formed in a star. That's the way that you can tell the difference between Decrypt and Decode. They're pretty straightforward, and they're pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. So let's get started. So for Decode, Decode is pretty straightforward, and what we're going to do is we're simply going to look up these symbols here, and we're going to press each glyph that corresponds to the last digit of the serial number when it's on the last digit of the serial number. So we're going to find the symbols present in here and describe them how you please. Normally, a good way that people do it is they describe it sort of game of life style, where, for example, this first symbol would be 1 5, then 1 2 5, then 5, then 1 2 5, then 1 5, and you would say that that would be number 9. So we would press this guy on 9 when the last digit is a 9. Next up, for this symbol, we have 1 2 3 4 5, then skip, then 1 5, then 3, then 2 4, which is a 1. So we're going to press this guy when the last digit of bomb timer is a 1. Note that this is why this is on the bomb timer. And then for our last one, we have 1 2 3 4 5, then skip, then 2 4, then skip, then 2 4, or sort of like making a little box, which corresponds to the number 5 down here. So we're going to press this on a 5. And just like that, after all three of these glyphs have been clicked, the module will solve. Pretty straightforward. Now for Decrypt, Decrypt is a little bit interesting. So we're going to be taking a look at 5 different glyphs, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what a word is instead of just submitting several different digits. So what we need to determine is the word that we're going to be looking at here. And we're going to be taking a look, and we're going to go clockwise here. We're going to go clockwise and figure out what we're looking at. So we're going to do, the first one is going to be just 3, then skip, then 2 3 4, then skip, then 1 2 3 4 5, which corresponds to Victor. Then next up we have what appears to be 2 5, then 5, then 1 2 3 5, and I could say that that's probably symmetrical, and say that that's a... Where is this one? The manual does a little bit weird when it's condensed. Or no, it's actually just weird in general, so, okay. This... what is this one? This one's a mic right here, so it's a mic. Or, wait. Oh no, it's meant to be in reading order, my bad. So we're actually going to be taking a look here. So we're going to go to this symbol next, and then the third one is going to be mic, my bad. My apologies on that. So now what we're going to be doing is taking a look at this next one. So it's going to be 1 5, then 2, then 1 5, then 3, then 1 5, then skip, then 1 2 3 4 5, which corresponds to Oscar. So our second one is going to be Oscar. Our third one we said was Mike. The fourth one we're going to take a look at is going to be 2 5, then 1 3 5. 2 5, then 5, then 1 3 5, then 5, then 2 5. Let's find you somewhere along the lines here. I believe I actually did see you beforehand. You were in India right here. Now it's hard to see the difference between them, but we've got the 2 5, we've got the 1 3 5, the 2 5, and so on and so forth right there. So that's going to be India. And from what I'm suggesting here, if we happen to take a look at the word table, I'm believing this is going to be a vomit, so our last character should be a tango. So this is going to be tango, so right here, so that makes sense. 3 5, then 1 5, then 1 3 5, then 1 5, then 2 5, then 3 5. That corresponds to tango right there, so that makes sense. So our word is going to be vomit. So now what we're going to do is, since we found our word, we're going to essentially submit the word formed by the glyphs. So to determine the word you need to submit, we're going to take the word on the module that we found here, and we're going to move it forward. Oop, that's my bad. Move it forward in the word table equal to the number of batteries plus the last digit of the serial number. So we're going to shift it forward and submit a new word. So we're going to shift it forward into the word table, and it's going to be equal to the number of batteries, which we have 4 of those. So we have 4 batteries plus the last digit of the serial number. Last digit being a 9, 4 plus 9. Looping around if necessary. If the number happens to be 0, we're simply going to use 7 instead to shift forward. We're going to shift forward by 7. So, taking a look, so we're going to go in reading order. We're going to shift it in reading order. Forward by 4 plus 9, giving us 13. So we're going to shift forward by 13. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And our word we're going to submit is clamp. And remember, we're going to do this in reading order. Reading order is how it wants it in. So we're going to simply, so we're gonna hold a glyph, and it will cycle through the entire alphabet of glyphs, and releasing will lock in the current glyph displayed. So we're gonna want to submit clamp as our word. Clamp will be our word. And for the first one, we're going to be taking a look at 1, 5, then skip, then 2, 3, 4, 5, or excuse me, 2, 3, 4, then skip, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our first one. So let's hold down this glyph. It will begin to cycle. That's the one that we want to submit right there. We just missed it. It'll come back around, don't worry. And just like that, I released it at that time. 1, 5, then skip, then 2, 3, 4, then skip, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And kind of what you want to do is you want to prep your diffuser of what it's going to look like, so that you know exactly when to diffuse it, to when to release it, rather. Next up, for this second symbol over here, we're going to submit Lima, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then skip, then 2, 3, 4, then skip, then 3. It's sort of like a descending series of rows. And just like that, right there. Alright, next up, we're going to submit alpha. Alpha is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's going to be Charlie but flipped, essentially. So we're going to look for that. Charlie but flipped. And just like that, right there. And next up, we're going to be taking a look at Mike. Mike is going to be 2, 5, then 5, then 1, 2, 3, 5, then skip, then 5, then 2, 5. So let's submit that onto the module. This is a bit of a weird one. Actually, it happened to be the exact same as the third character, so if you remember that, then you're good to go. We're going to submit you into the module right there. And for our last one, Papa. Papa is, I guess I would call this one sort of a face. It looks like almost like a clown face in a way. We've got 1, 5, then 1, 5, then 3, then skip, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That. And just like that, our last character was submitted into the module. It was correct, and just like that is a solved module. Let's take a look at one more example for each of these guys, because they're pretty straightforward to do. It's all you have to do is find the word that's present on the module, shift it forward, and then submit that word. And decode is pretty straightforward. It's submitting the last digit of submitting these symbols on the last digit of the serial number. So let's take a look at one final example of each of these guys. Alrighty, let's head into another module here. Let's get decode done, because this is a pretty straightforward one. But the game of lifestyle, it ensures efficiency. It makes sure that you don't mess up any sort of description, because describing stuff can be a bit variable, and it definitely makes things a little bit harder to. It definitely makes things a little bit more risky, because you could miss something or misinterpret it in some way, shape, or form. So for our first one here, we have 1, 5, then 3, 5, then 2, 3, 5, then 3, 5, and it's sort of asymmetrical. So we're going to submit this. We're going to look around for this. This is a 2. So we're going to submit this on 2. Good. And note, if you happen to submit this at any wrong time, it doesn't reset the module. So it will record a strike, but does not reset the module. So it's perfectly fine. Next up, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to simply say that this is a 1 right here. You can already see that that's a 1. For our last character, this is going to be corresponding to 6 right here. This is the Charlie with dot and Omega. It's going to correspond to 6. We'll wait for this to come around. And also, this is the module. So that, all is said and done. Next up, let's determine our guys here. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster because I know how to do this module efficiently. So this is a golf. This is a hotel. This is I'm believing it's going to be a ghost, honestly. That would make sense. Ghost, yes. And you can obviously look at the glyph table here. Golf corresponds with this first symbol up here. Hotel corresponds with the second symbol. Oscar corresponds with the third, similar to that. Sierra corresponds to the fourth, and Tango corresponds to the fifth. And Ghost is going to be our word. Now we're going to find this on the word table, which is indeed a word, so we're good to go. And we're going to take a look at the amount of batteries. As we have 1 battery, plus the last digit of the serial number. So 1 plus 0 gives us 1. So that's perfect. Now all we need to do is we simply need to shift it forward by 1. So we're going to be submitting in the word heart. Pretty easy module. It's pretty straightforward. Probably the hardest part of this one is submitting it. So heart is going to be similar to actually the second symbol. So we can actually use that knowledge from beforehand and submit that into the module. So let's do hotel. Let's wait for you to come around. Alright, that's in. Echo is going to be 3, 5, then 5, then 1, 5, then symmetrical. It's going to be, come on. There we go. That's an echo. Next up is going to be alpha. Alpha is going to be the Charlie, but it's upside down, or the smiley face. And if you happen to get the same character that appears first, like when you hold it down, if you happen to pop up first, if you know exactly what you're looking at, if you know exactly what you're looking for example, if you're EFMing, then you can simply immediately release it. But I would advise you to wait until it cycles back around, just to make sure that you don't strike. Next up, our character is going to be Romeo. It's a 1x5 vertical and a 2x3 vertical, so we're going to submit that into the model. There. And Tango. Tango is actually going to be the exact same symbol, so it's going to be the exact same symbol as beforehand. So we're going to submit this symbol that we have right here on the display into the actual module again. So let's wait for it to come back around. And just like that is this whole module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.